Hello, welcome to another episode of Bot and Back, and today we are looking at the last figure in this set of Craftsman Toys Technobots, Lightspeed, or as they are calling him, Speed Drive. So, after I do this review, I'm going to do a review of the entire set combined as Computron, and see what I think of this whole package altogether. But for now, we're going to look at this guy. So let's get this box out of the way. And first of all, let's just take a look at how he looks. So I think overall he looks pretty cool. I think they were very faithful to the original. Here, we're just going to do that comparison right now. Here's the original. Forgot how dorky he looks. He's pretty dorky. Sorry, buddy. I don't want to make fun of you. But if you look at their heads, really the same look, too. I mean, these guys really, I keep saying this over and over like a broken record, but these guys really captured the looks of the G1 figures so well. So I think he looks really nice. He is maybe, if I'm being super nitpicky, maybe he's a little too plain. It could maybe use one more color pop here or there. I don't know, maybe not. I think overall he looks really nice. I like how these tailpipes look like they're blasters. That's what I like to imagine they are, at least. But I think he looks really good. If I have any complaints right off the bat, I wish this would tab in on the back. And as far as I can see, it really doesn't. So that kind of bothers me. I'm not sure. I think the directions say to have that spoiler like that. I don't know. I kind of like it like that personally. So whatever you prefer for him. But yeah, he looks good. His joints are mostly good except for one thing. His shoulder joints are super tight. And you can hear that. I'm probably going to have to loosen them up a little bit. They're very tight. Everything else is good except for that. It's very frustrating. To be honest, I usually don't even tend to move his arms that way just so I can avoid it. Hearing the squeaking and wrestling with his shoulders. But while we're here, let's just go right onto the articulation. His head has really nice articulation, I think. It goes up and down. It goes all the way around. So it's pretty much got all the articulation you could want from a figure for the head. We're going to go right into my most frustrating part of the articulation. It's the arms. They can go out that far, which is nice, but when you want to turn them this way, well, number one, we already said this, that it's so tight. But if you want it to go even the slightest bit this way, and if you want to go out, you can't, because this part is hitting the backpack. And so you can do something about it. Part of the transformation, this comes out. So you can pull this out, and then this can kind of go out too, but it still can't go out as much as I would like it to. So it's kind of frustrating. I kind of do not love how they did the shoulders. And I'm dealing with something right now that I'm gonna move ahead to. He has this. I'm assuming it's an ab crunch because there's nothing else in the transformation that I can see that this exists for, and I normally would not say this. I wish they didn't have it because it's not firm enough. It keeps accidentally untabbing, and it's frustrating. I may actually just glue it on, except for the fact that he needs to rotate. So I can't glue it, but maybe I'll glue just the very sides of it, so at least this stays together. But it's not worth it for him to have that. I just don't care enough, and it comes apart too easily. But anyway, going back to the articulation here, so it will go up and down like this. If you want it to turn this way, you've got to pull it out some, and even then it's not great. Let's see, what else was I going to tell you? Like, it's really very difficult to have the arm go all the way around. I'm not even going to do it because it's so tight. and it's fiddly because this shoulder thing moves easily, so it just does not. And there, did it again. Came undone. So that's really frustrating for me. And I don't want to make, well, you know what? I'm going to also say this. I don't like it came undone again. It's constantly coming undone because you have to fight so much to get the arms to go where you want them to because they're so tight. And as you're turning them, you pull at this and then the stupid ab crunch comes in. So that's something I'm very frustrated about. What else? It keeps doing it. All right, I'm gonna stop. Just assume it just keeps doing it and I'm frustrated. So I feel like he's shrugging all the time. I wish you can, because of the transformation, you can just naturally have it out like that. I think that looks much better. So see? That's what I'm talking about. It just constantly does it. It just constantly does it. I don't think I realized how much it bothered me until I started doing this review. Anyway, I think that looks more natural. So I just like to leave these out a little bit. But going back to his, oh my gosh, it's so tight. Going back to his articulation, he has a bicep twist, swivel. His arm will go up that far. You can move this as well, but that's part of the transformation. His arm will go up that far and down that far. And his hand does swivel. It's hard to see, but it swivels all the way around, which is nice. I swear, I feel like this is just gonna snap soon. Yeah, I didn't want to lubricate it because I wanted to show to you guys for the review how frustrating it was. So he's got waist swivel. Can go to about there before you start having some tolerance issues or some clearance issues. You could pull this up and turn it more, but I'm not sure why you want that kibble to be raised that high just so you can turn his waist more. But so you got that. These skirts fold up, and so do these, but these are part of the transformation on the side. These will also fold up. So he does a and almost, yeah, he does a great split, and his legs will go, see, all the time. His legs will go forward that far, and they will go back that far, and his knee will bend very decent amount, more than 90 degrees. I'm sorry, not 90. Is that 90? Yeah, 90. More than 90 degrees. What's going on with his heel? Okay. And he has, he swivels at the upper part of his thigh. That will swivel. And his legs. See, he's fiddly. I am a little frustrated about how, because of the transformation, there's so many fiddly parts moving around, like extra bits. Like back here, there's this extra bit here. Sorry, I'm trying to show you. This thing here, he's just got all these extra flaps everywhere. So that's frustrating. Yeah, I don't know. If I'm going to describe this guy with one word, it's fiddly. Like, he has tight joints, but then things like this, or things like his backpack, or things like his stupid ab crunch. It's just, it makes it frustrating to deal with him. But he has ankle tilt, really good ankle tilt, and there's no swivel. But as you can obviously see, he has a toe bend, partly because of the transformation. And I believe that covers everything. I think we talked about the back. It's with the spoiler, quite a bit of kibble there. You can bring this down. I think that fixes it a little bit. I think that fixes it quite a bit. But again, I like how the figure looks. He has decent articulation. It's just, once again, the joint tightness on his shoulders is frustrating, and that's probably the most frustrating part of it. So that's the articulation. And I guess I didn't really talk about paint, but he's got this nice silver paint. I think that looks good. That looks nice. I mean, I think I was being way too picky. I don't think he needed more detail. I don't think he's too plain. I think he's fine. I think he looks really nice. And it's unlike his package mate Strafe, his face is painted, so you can see him real well. He's got his gun here. This tends to be a little bit loose too, this barrel. That bends for transformation. But let's do some size comparisons. So we already saw him with the original G1 Lightspeed. And here he is with Cliff Jumper. I believe this is War for Cybertron Cliff Jumper. Almost the same height. Now what I am doing here is, because I'm lazy, I'm taking very similar figures so I don't have to keep transforming them, and I'll have one in alt mode and one in bot mode. So that's how they look. Here he is with G2 Sideswipe. And here he is with my Studio Series 86 knockoff Optimus Prime. This is the Shattered Glass one. That's how they stack up. Okay. Oh, gosh. And his barrel bent. All right. Let's move on to transformation. Now, the first thing you want to do is just turn his head around 180, like that. Now, let's look at his arms. What we want to do is bring the fist. It's going to come out like that. You want to turn it so it's facing that way. And then this is going to, you can fold that in and then push that back down again. Do that again on the other side. Turn that. Fold, oops. Fold it in. Put that in like that. There we go. Now let's look at his forearm. There is, we gotta do it. No, I'm not going to turn his shoulder. I'm going to figure it out without turning his squeaky tight shoulder. So you want to untab this. Actually, it doesn't really, no, it does tab in. You want to untab this. It's a double hinge, and we're going to bring it back like that, and that'll click in. So it looks like that. Same thing for the other side. You're basically just extending it. Untab it, and then just extend it back like so. So there, that is that. And as I was showing you before, I kind of already have these out just because I prefer them that way. So next, what we can do is what you can do is you can actually move these down. Make sure these are down as far as they can go. And then turn his shoulder up. And then you can push these back up again. And I would leave this little flap here out as much as you can for now. Same thing for this one. I'll show you that again. Make sure this is pulled down as much as you can. And then we're going to turn. Actually, I think it helps to turn his forearm like that, straighten that, and then bring this back in and push it, and then push it in. See, it pushes in like that, very slightly. And then, again, leave that tab out. So, that's his arms for now. Just got to make sure that his arms are straight because I was messing with the articulation earlier. Okay, so what we want to do now is let's rotate his waist 180, like that. And then right after you do that, take these tabs on the sides, push them all the way up. Like so. There. Now let's turn him around. And we're going to fold up his spoiler. And let's lift this up, and we're going to reach underneath, and we're going to unfold the front windshield of his alt mode. And then this, I find this to be a little fiddly as well, is pulling this out and trying to get it exactly where it needs to be. Let's just pull it out loose for now. Leave this up a little bit and just he's going to look like a mess for a little while on the upper portion. Now let's go down to his lower body again, and we're going to do something that's interesting. I've seen some people, I think this is kind of neat engineering. I'm not sure exactly why they had to do it this way, but I think they did it so that his thighs can look really cool in this mode, and then when you turn it to alt mode, they can get out of the way. I'm not sure. You tell me when you see the transformation. I think it's a neat bit of engineering. I'm just not sure why it's necessary, and some people on the threads on TFW have said they think it's unnecessary. But what you do is you take his thigh, and you just, it's very hard to notice. You push this forward. It's not doing it. Oh, sorry, the stupid camera. There, it did it. You can barely see it. It clicks forward, and then you can turn the thigh around. I think that's kind of cool. And then you push it back down again. After you do that, you turn the whole thing around. Now, I guess if you didn't do that, you would have this bit showing here. But so what? I guess oh, you know what I think it is? One time I had forgotten. You know what? I had forgotten to do that part. So this part was here, and I think when I was bringing down the windshield, it didn't have as much clearance. I think you need to do that to make room. That might be why you do that. But anyway, you have to do it. If you don't do it, it's not just for aesthetics. You need to do it for the transformation, or else things will just not fit right. So let's do the other side. Pull this back. I think it already did pull back. Sometimes it pulls back by itself, and then push it back in. There we go. And then turn the whole thing around. There, and it should look like that. Alright, so the next thing we should do, let's go to the back of him. Now, this is tricky. I thought it was tricky. It took me a little while to get this right. Untab this. There. Untab this a little bit. Now, you see this round thing, how it's sticking out? See that? You want to... Here. Also, you can... I'm sorry. You see how this is? Push this up first. First push that up, but only push it up that far. Now, that round thing there, you have to take this side and this side of the leg and pull them apart. And it's not... It's so... Oh, there it goes. Actually, that was pretty significant how much it pulled apart. Sometimes it does it so softly, it doesn't click every time. Sometimes it just very softly just goes... And it's hard to tell it did it. So this is how you tell. That's no longer sticking out. So you pull it apart like that so that you can bring this up even more. And this is tricky. You want to... Oh, it's not that tricky. So now that this is here, you want to pull this up the rest of the way. You see how I did that? I'll do it again. You want this to go up the rest of the way. So this was originally down here. You want to go up here like that. I'm doing this again just to explain it, make sure you understand. Bring it up that far, pull these apart like I showed you, and then pull this up the rest of the way, and then push this up like that. So it's like this. And if you don't pull it apart correctly, this won't fit up here. So let's do it on the other side. Untap. This is something else that happens. No, it didn't break, but yeah, this comes loose. Sorry, it's a friction joint, fortunately. And fortunately, it didn't just witness me break something. But that comes off pretty easily. So when you pull this off, see, it's fighting with the wheel. That's why that came off. If you try to pull this up too far, it fights with the wheel and it comes off the friction joint. This is what I'm talking about being fiddly. So we're going to do that and bring it up as much as we can. I guess the thing is, you want to make sure you just barely untab it. I sound angry, don't I? And then rotate this up. And now you grab the two sides and pull them apart. Make sure that that circle is now flush to know that it's pulled apart enough. And then you can push this up and push this in the rest of the way. Okay, so now that is done. And that took me a while to figure out. Next thing you want to do is fold these in. And these go in like that, the heels. And then push these up like that. It's on a bit of a double hinge, I believe. Same for the other side. Bring that up. In fact, let's do this first. So you do it again. You bring this up and then just push this into there and then fold the heel in. Sometimes the heel folds in just by itself. And then just push this hood in the rest of the way, like that. And sometimes it will not get seamlessly in there until you do everything else for some reason. So you want to tab these together like that. And now we're going to leave this alone for now. And just make sure you push these up here so that they're in. But I don't think these are going to push in and be, you're going to see this seam until we do some other stuff. All right, so next thing we want to do, let's go back up to the upper body. Let's pull these apart. You can actually pull these all the way down. I should have done that before. So they were like that, pull them all the way down. We're going to bring this in. Actually, you want to bring it in, but keep it looking like this. So when you do that, you're going to bring, there's a slot here that's going to go on this tab, but it's tricky because this tab is also going to go into this slot, and doing them both together can get a little frustrating too. So in getting this to tab in, because as you're trying to get it to tab in, this stupid thing starts folding, and it's a little frustrating. Come on, tab in. There, got it. And then this kind of tabs in by itself once you get that. So I didn't think I was this frustrated by this figure until I started doing this right in front of you. There. So that works like that. Let's keep these out still for now. I want to see if there's anything else I'm missing. I think we're good. Okay. Actually, let's tab these in now. They go into there. And then we just tab these in as well. And you might want to make sure that these are, just push on everything and just kind of get everything to, you might want to push this way into the shoulders. I might not have done that enough. Just go around, make sure everything's pushed in and nice and seamless. And then now we're going to take this part, make sure this is pushed down enough, and we're just going to push this together like so. Oh, I wasn't pushing in correctly on that side. There we go. Now it's pushed in. I think it's a little bit better on the hood, but that's probably the best we're going to get. You're probably still going to see these lines here a little bit. The one thing that really drives me a little bit crazy about this, comment section below if I'm doing it wrong and you know better, but these two pieces where I'm pretty sure that's the legs, like the hinges for the legs. I don't like that showing. I wish this met perfectly with the windshield. That bothers me, but otherwise we're done. And I think it looks really nice. And honestly, as much as I complained, I think it's a cool bit of engineering. It's fun to transform, except for the parts where things just won't quite fit and they're fiddly. And it's a little bit frustrating trying to get it to work. But even though it's frustrating, I still enjoy it despite that. So one more thing you can do, by the way, you can take his gun, fold in the barrel, and then the handle here goes into that little hole there. And then you got your weapon storage. So there we go. We have light speed in his alt mode, in his cool sports car mode. And once again, they did a very nice job. Oh, I'm gonna have to transform this guy. Hope you have time. Actually, oh gosh. Okay, so this is a knockoff of the original G1 set, and I'm afraid this is gonna break. Oh my gosh, I don't like how that snapped. Anyway, yeah, this is not the best knockoff. I mean, it's better than nothing. I always wanted the G1 set again, so at least I have something that's not perfect, but it can give me happy memories, because this was my favorite combiner growing up. Anyway, my point is, look at that. Again, they kept the feel. They nailed the feel of the original vehicle, but they modernized it really nicely. So There we go. That's how he looks with the original G1. Now here he is with Studio Series 86 Bumblebee. They're about, he's a little taller, a little longer. That's how they measure up. He rolls so well. He really does. I need to be careful because my table's not exactly perfectly flat, and he has fallen on the floor at least 5 times now, and I have to be careful. I'm thankful he has not broken from falling. But let's put him over here someplace safe. Here he is with that same side swipe mold, but this is the Armada wheeljack, and that's how they measure up. For length, move the camera back so you can see the length. Oh my goodness. And for length, about that different. So that's how they look. And then finally, Studio Series Optimus Prime. That's how they look together. So again, I really enjoy this alt mode. I think it looks really good. Let's see. Also, he comes with the same accessory that Nose Cone came with. It's basically, I don't know, it looks like a little droid robot thing that shoots. It's just something to make an excuse for having the foot. So it's not a worst case of parts forming where literally it's just the foot laying around. So you can make it look kind of like a gun placement. And this will combine with the other foot and the pants of that came with Scattershot to make a big gun emplacement, and we will look at that when we look at the combined mode review after this one. But anyway, so that's what you can do. You can also, if you would like, you can take his gun and you can put it on top, handle in there. And you have 2 guns. So that's pretty cool. And when he's in robot mode, you could have him standing behind it like he's manning it or something. I don't know. It reminds me of like the little droids that would roll around on the Death Star, if you remember which ones I'm talking about, the little black box looking ones. I don't know why. I guess it doesn't look that much like it, but that's what it reminds me of. So anyway, so let's put that aside, and we're going to put him into his leg mode. So first thing that we want to do, let's pull this out, and we're going to pull this down like so. Now we want this to stay in like that. Oops. Grr. We want it to stay like that. But these bits here, we want these to move. Well, here, let's move the whole thing down. This will be, we want it to, let's keep it here. Let's not turn it yet. We want, this is another thing. It's just a little frustrating. Is getting, come on. It's getting these to double hinge up more. I don't know, maybe they were and I just didn't realize it. So basically you want them, you basically are going to want them to look like that. And then the whole thing goes up like this, but it should be farther down, I think. Here, you want it like that. You want it like that. I don't know, maybe it's user error, but I do find, again, this is another case of it just being kind of fiddly to me and frustrating. But anyway, so now let us start taking these bits back apart that were together before. So we're going to separate the arms. We're going to untab this. Now, this is important. When you try to pull these apart, the arms up here, pull this out, because this is still tabbed in up here, and I will forget that. And then these untab. They're supposed to untab. There. So So you want these to pull out. And same thing for this side. Make sure this is untabbed while you... Oh, you could also just pull it up like that. That was easier. And then just pull this guy out, like so. Okay. Now let's just pull that up. And let's see. Why don't we go in here? Do you remember... There. Remember these tabs here? We want these to be... Ow. We want these to be straight out. Like that. On both sides. Because these are going to plug into the insides of the arms at a later part of this transformation. So, there we go. Let's see what we want to do next. Let us pull this out more. And you want to kind of like, it's got a little bit of a double hinge. You want to work it a little bit. And then this, I believe, will this push in more? Or is this... Yeah, it will. So you can push this up even farther. And you want to do it far enough so that these two tabs will go into these two slots. Like so. There. Now, there's something you might notice. Inside of here, once in a while, this thing... it doesn't always do it. But this thing here will come down. It is not in the instructions anywhere. And when you bring this down to tab in, I thought maybe this would connect. I thought maybe this little thing here would connect into something here. It looks like it could. It looks like it could connect into maybe these slots, but it doesn't reach them. So I don't know if it's just that it was meant to do something and it just doesn't. But all you need to do is put these two tabs into these two slots. That's all you need. So there. And then you want to double hinge this down so that it looks like this. Okay. Now, so this is how we should be looking so far. So let's turn them around. Now we're going to pull this down like so. Let me show you again. We're going to pull this down, and then you turn this around. And I really like how they do that. And then you make sure his head is clear. And then you can push it back up. There. And I really like how they did that. So this is where he's going to connect to the upper leg in combine mode. So now let's pull this down a little bit, and we're going to turn this up like that. Same for this side. Extend the arm as little as it does, and then turn the shoulder like that. Now, if you remember, we have these two posts. Those are going to go into these slots right here. Now we want to push this up into it again before we do that. And this is where you got to watch multiple things at once. You want this windshield, this window, to be behind this part here. See what I'm doing there? You don't want it like that. You want it behind it, not like that. And what makes me nervous is this is paint, and I don't like that scratching up against there, and I'm afraid it's going to start scratching the paint off. So far, I haven't had a problem with it, but it makes me a little nervous. So you want to make sure that that is under there so that this will reach into that little hole. And it's there. We got it in. It's really hard to see because it's kind of dark in there. But basically, keep moving it around until it goes into that little slot. I'll show you again. This is the slot you want it to go into. And this is the post you want to go into. So again, bring this down. Also make sure that is pushed in all the way. That will help as well. So now you just want to get it so that goes into that post there. Trust me, it's almost impossible to see, but it is. Make sure these are pushed down. Make sure everything is where it should be. This is pushed down. Everything's looking good. That should be how it is. It looks pretty cool. Once we combine it with this, it's going to look even better. But I believe that's everything. So we can leave this gun on the back. In fact, let's move it around like that. No, let's not. Let's leave it there for now. So what we're going to do is we're going to just pull this up like that. Now you're going to see this slot area. This part here matches that. This part slides into that part. And it's kind of tight, I'll be honest. But and again, it's hard for you to see because everything is covered up, but it slides in there. And then you just push this up against his back. Oh, let me show you this too. Sorry, I should just show you this. Now, getting him back out is kind of hard. See this post here? This post here goes into this here. That'll help it have just some more stability. So let's do that again. We're gonna put that into there, and then this should fit into there. There. Everything's in. And you can see what I was saying before, that ab crunch does not help at all here. There's no reason for it. So I don't know why that is. Now you can have his gun like that. That looks kind of cool. Or you can turn it around and you can have it up underneath of there. I might actually like it the other way. I wasn't having it like this before, but I don't know. It looks kind of like a piston or something, right? But anyway, so there. That's the leg mode. I am frustrated with my camera. So that's the leg mode. And I think it looks pretty cool. I think that... Oh, where is it? I'm professional. Hold on. I think that nose cones looks a little bit more interesting. You know what? I don't know. I was going to say it does, but then you have this huge drill just hanging out. So, I don't know. They both have their pluses and minuses. But you're going to have to wait for the combine mode review to see him combine. I'm going to make you wait for that. But there's some really neat articulation on this foot. First of all, it swivels like that. It's got ankle tilt for days. Really nice ankle tilt on it. And something I don't know if I've ever seen before. It's got a toe bend. And the heel even moves a little bit. The heel's got some give to it. So that's really cool. I'm impressed by that. I was impressed by that when I saw it on nose cone as well. So that's it. That's it for the combine mode. So let's transform him back into his car mode. The foot's very easy to transform back. Actually, one thing to look out for. When you close this again, this post needs to go into that slot. So just be careful if that's not closing for you. And there we go. All right, so let's put that off to the side, and we're going to transform him back into his car mode. So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to take these off of those posts that we've clicked them onto. Let's pull these down. And then we're going to move this up like so, and then move this back in. Same thing for the other side. We're going to move this down. I'm going to rotate this. Now careful, sometimes some stuff can... Oh, I remember what I did. yeah, do what we did on the way to this mode. Just move this out of the way, and then this won't really have too much trouble having clearance issues. And then just push that back in again. And then make sure these are kind of out, just so they're out of the way. Let's take the arms and pull them out like so. We're going to bring this down. We're going to swivel this and then push the head back in. There we go, and it stays in that direction. Now let's bring, well, first we got to take the windshield and we're going to untab it. That tabs in nice and securely. I don't know what it is about it, but I think there's so many other things that it's hard to tell if things have tabbed in. It's satisfying the way that tabs in. It tabs in very nicely. So pull this up, take this back part, and we're just going to double hinge it until it gets to where we need it to be. And then we're going to bring the arms back in until they can tab together. Like so. And then this tabs here too. Same for the other side. Bring that in, tab it in. The spoiler tabs in. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. Hold on. Abort. Hurry. Oh gosh. That's why I wanted these to be clear, but unfortunately these kind of sometimes will fold in on their own without you wanting them to. So let's try that again. That's why I was having so much trouble getting that to tab in correctly. There we go. And there's that weird piece dangling down that doesn't do anything, but now it's hanging down. Anyway, okay. Now that we did this upper part, we're going to do this, and it's a little, I find it a little tricky. So you want to bend this way. And let's take the hood and let's just pull this up all the way, and then we want to push this. We want this to go down into the, here, take this and push that in. We want all this stuff to push down into the hood. Because you see how that was sticking out? You want this to all push down. And then you got to kind of fight with this to keep everything tabbed together. It might be better just to pull the legs apart and do all this. But anyway, keep messing with it until you can get everything to look like that. It's just going to be squeezing this stuff in, keeping this together. Like, I can do that again if you'd like. It did look like this. And you just basically want to bring this down and push these down too. I guess that's not as hard as I thought. So you do that. And then you push these. This is also a little bit difficult, is getting the hood to, it's on a kind of stiff and short double hinge, so it's just a little hard to get leverage on it. Basically mess with it until it looks like this. I know that's not a great transformation tutorial, but that's what you do. And then let's, and now the ab crunch came back into play again. Stupid ab crunch. I swear I'm going to glue that. Okay, so let's go back to the upper body. Tab these in. And tab these in as well. I know, what's wrong? Oh, no, I don't. Oh, it did it by itself. So those posts in there, they pushed up by themselves because I was pushing so much force. But make sure, here, I'm going to show you. Make sure that you push. Here, I'm going to untransform it just so I can show you this. Make sure that these here, make sure you push them back up, or else you're going to really struggle with this. No. Anyway, so where did we leave off? We were here. And you want to make sure that these tab in. That everything's tabbing in on the side. Everything's pushed in, everything's tabbed in. It's kind of similar to how we did this from the robot mode, to be honest. And then we just push everything together. Oh, I didn't do it right. What the heck? Oh, it's because of this stupid ab crunch. Okay, there. There we go. Okay, we got everything pushed in. Watch out for that place where the ab crunch folds, and you will have your car mode again. I'm sorry if that was not the smoothest transformation I've ever done, but I imagine that you will probably also be a little frustrated with it, so maybe that helps you show... maybe that helps show you how to succeed in transforming him. I like his painted wheels. I like that they're not just mushroom pegs, like plastic mushroom pegs. I think it looks nice. Oh, and once again, come off. And then once again, we have our weapon storage. Fold the barrel under. Handle goes into that hole. And there we go. He rolls pretty well, by the way. Not as well as Bumblebee, apparently, because this guy rolls the best. Oh, no! Oh, I thought I was going to fall off the table. I've had enough of falling off the table. Stop. Oh, he almost fell off again. Okay. Gotta put some sticky tack on. Excuse me. I gotta put some sticky tack on his wheels. Alright, and now let's finally turn him into a robot again. So we're gonna extend his feet, his legs. We're going to untab these sections. Be careful grabbing here, because again, the paint seems pretty sturdy, but I do get scared of that paint chipping. And untab these guys here, up here, and then we're going to pull these apart, and again, make sure you're pulling this tab out as you're pulling this out, and just pull that whole thing down there on that hinge. Same for the other side. Pull all this out. Oh, this would help. Pull out the weapon. There we go. And next, let's grab these posts and push them down. Let's not push them down all the way. I'm not sure if it's going to get in the way of the waist rotation, but let's just, for now, push them halfway down. There we go. Now, let's turn... Oh, no, let's not do that yet. Let's pull up his windshield. There's that bit again. That doesn't do anything. And we're going to fold it under and bring this down. Actually, don't bring it down yet, because we got to do the waist rotation. This is a good time to do the waist rotation. 180 waist rotation. Now you can bring this down. In fact, you can bring down the back like this as well. So that's done. And now let's push these down the rest of the way. These two posts. There we go. Now we're going to do that interesting bit. Well, no, not yet. Let's first... Okay, that's pulling down as far as it's going to go, I think. So now we're going to... Let's separate the legs. And let's untab the feet. And bring them around like that. And bring... Oh, yeah, bring down the heels. Same for here. Untab the feet. Turn them. And turn the heel down. Like that. And then... Let's... bring this down only that far. Oh, see? Comes off of that friction post way too easily because there's not enough clearance, unless I'm really doing it wrong. Oh my goodness. Okay, I was getting scared maybe I did break it. Anyway, so the clearances on this suck. Sorry, pardon my language, but they suck. So you bring this down only that far because the wheel gets in the way. You can move this leg back. You should move the leg back, the upper leg back, so there's room. Move that so it's no longer fighting with the wheel. And now you can move it down a little more to about there. Now you want to compress these back in so that little circle thing, you'll see that pop out. Compress that back in, bring this down the rest of the way, and then this tab will fit into this slot area here. And that's how the back of the leg should look. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on this side and hopefully not sound quite as frustrated. All right, we're going to bring it down about that far until it meets the wheel. Don't try to force it down anymore. Bring this back. That's what I've just learned just now. Bring the upper leg back so this has clearance to close that far. Now, see how that little hole there is flush? We're going to hold both sides of the thigh. We're basically going to squeeze his thigh until that comes out about that far. And you don't really... See, that time you didn't hear a click. It's very soft, so it's hard to tell when it's done it enough. I still feel like it hasn't actually compressed enough. Can I push it any more? I don't want to break anything. I guess that's good. So then you just bring this down the rest of the way and tab it into the back. And there we go. We have that done. Now we're going to do that interesting thing with the thighs. If the ab crunch doesn't freaking cause problems, we're going to... This is causing a shadow and we can't see. There we go. That's a little better. We're going to take this and we're going to turn it 180. Then we're going to take the thigh and we're going to unclick it. We're going to unclick it. Sometimes this is also fiddly. I'm pushing, and it's not unclicking. There. Sometimes you actually have to kind of like try rotating it first, and then that thigh will do that very minuscule click that way, and then you can rotate it. But I find there, and I just moved it back, and it's almost indiscernible when you do it. So let's do the other side. We're going to turn this around. We're going to pull this. We want to pull this up. There it did it. I don't know why it's so picky. Sometimes it does it, sometimes it doesn't. And then push this back down. There, it did. It's hard to tell, but it did. Hey, look what's happening. Hello. I'm an ab crunch. I am your worst nightmare. Ha ha ha. Okay. So there. He's almost done. Okay. This is not my favorite transformation. You know what? This would be fun if it wasn't so fiddly and frustrating. It has neat ideas. It's the implementation. It's the engineering. The engineering just has too many places where the clearance isn't good, or it's fiddly. Whether you know whether this is slidden, whether this has slidden. Is slidden a word? Whether it's slid? Yeah. It's hard knowing whether this slid. This stupid ab crunch keeps happening. It's just fiddly and it's frustrating. And I feel like with just a little more love, it could be so much better. And I still enjoy it, but it's a frustrated enjoyment, if that makes sense. So, anyway. Alright, so this... How was this? It was like this. Make sure this is pulled down. Turn this. You can tell I'm frustrated now. I'm just rushing through this now. I'm sorry, I don't want to sound like I'm rushing. Turn the shoulder. Bring this back. And you know, this already did it. It kind of almost did it just by me holding this so tightly. You want to double hinge this over here, and then this tab will go into that slot. There. We're fostering kittens, as you know, if you watched the show before, and they're freaking making all that noise. I love kittens, but they're making me mad. Let's turn the shoulder. And again, this did it by itself. This was up here. So double hinge, tab in, and now we want to pull the hand up, then pull it up again on there. Turn the hand so that you can see the thumb there, and then bring that down. Same for the other side. Bring that up. Bring this up. Turn it. Push it down. And then we want to push all that in together. And then we just turn his head. There we go. And I believe that is it. We are done. I'm sorry, my friend, I was so mean to you, but you can be a little frustrating. Strafe is definitely my preferred figure of the two when it comes to the actual transformation. I think Strafe overall is just my favorite figure of the two of these guys. This guy is good, but frustrating. And again, with just a few tweaks here and there, he could have been even better and really great. I do recommend, so he doesn't look like he's shrugging, and just so you have an easier time with articulation, undo these a little bit. I just think he looks nicer that way. Looks a little more natural. The back, oh, I didn't have the back down all the way. There, that was probably part of the problem. But no, this is still going to have clearance issues when you want to turn his shoulder. The shoulders are too tight. I feel like they're going to break. And also, when you're turning the shoulders, because this is part of the transformation, I want to turn the shoulders, but this is turning instead. Nose cone kind of has that problem too, to be honest. But, and this is probably my least favorite part. This is the part that pisses me off. There's no reason for it. This does not, I don't care about, it's not even good articulation. It doesn't even look like a good ab crunch. I think this might be similar to that one other piece I showed you that kept hanging off. I bet this was some kind of thing that they were going to plan in the transformation and changed it. And I don't know. I feel like this is like an engineering for a transformation thing that never happened, and they just didn't bother to change it back. I don't know. I sound so mad, but I really do enjoy this figure still. I guess it's the problems of it that make me so frustrated because it's still so good. So anyway, that's my look at Craftsman Toys Lightspeed. I do like him. If he was just a toy by himself, that was not part of the combining team, I would probably be even more hard on him, I think. But anyway, he's still probably not as frustrating as Afterburner was, because he had some very, very tight joints. Maybe I'll like him more once I loosen some things up, and if I super glue this. I'm scared to death to super glue it, because I'm scared I'm going to make something stick that shouldn't stick. But anyway, I hope that helped. If you have this guy and you know some things I don't about some of the problems I had, please correct me in the comment section. And let me know, I don't know, do you guys like the Technobots? I love the Technobots. And is there another third-party version of them that you prefer? I kind of always wanted to get the Combiner Wars one, but that thing on the aftermarket is just way too expensive. But anyway, so that's him. I'm babbling. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed my content. And I will see you next time to see the full combined mode of Computron. Bye-bye.